Well, we'll address it. We will address it. Hello everyone, my name is Joe. If you're new to the channel, I review all of your favorite TV shows here and on my Patreon. That was an episode. As usual, I will start by reviewing the very first shot, in this case, very first scene, which sets the tone for the episode. Then I will move on to the weird family, the three friends, the age gap couple, Belinda, and then the lovebirds. I will analyze a few shots more closely when they make sense, analyze sometimes the color of the shots because everything is a clue, guys. And we will get back to some symbolism today because some things appear that I think are interesting. And we're also going to touch a little bit on the intro credits again, because there's something new. Maybe it was already there in the last episode and I just didn't notice it, but I noticed it now. And it's interesting, and I think it's a clue to what's going to happen to goddamn Belinda, and I will cry if that happens, okay? I will sob. Let's start with the weird family. The very first scene we see is of the dad, Timothée Chalamet. Oh my god, I can't believe I said that. Timothy, dreaming of offing himself. And about this scene, I want to mention this one specific shot. Because you kind of see him like enclosed by the wilderness, because I mentioned before that there was a really interesting shot where there was just wilderness and then one spot of light in the middle that kind of symbolized him being, you know, the walls closing in on him. And now this shot is like he's in this very spot where there used to be light, and now it's just him, a figure in the dark. He's feeling trapped by all of this. He doesn't see a way out, and he thinks the only solution is to pew-pew himself. But what I think was really interesting about this shot as well, not only the fact that the color we see apart from dark is green, which I found out recently that green in movies kind of signifies the undead. When someone appears in green or is in a very green shot, it kind of symbolizes this idea that they're somewhere between dead and alive. And I mean, he is, because the moment he found out he's probably going to go to prison, baby boy has been completely dead, thinking about, you know, offing himself. And I feel like what this means for the rest of the season is that he is not going to die, because we've already seen it now, right? We've already felt the shock of him shooting himself, shooting his wife. We've already felt many shocks around that. So I feel like if the show did it in real life now, it wouldn't have the same impact. We wouldn't feel the same things we felt, because this was the intro shot. Him pulling the trigger, and I mean, I don't know about you, but I felt it. I was like, what? This soon? What? And it would have been a good plot twist. It wasn't the reality, but I fell for it, and I felt the shock of it already. So I don't think they would do it in real life now, because we wouldn't have the same reaction. It wouldn't have the same impact. And also, this show is about eating the rich. You know, what punishment does he have if he has like an easy way out of his problems? Right? So I don't think he's going to shoot himself. And I think this green around him kind of signifies this idea that he will live, but he will live a half-lived life, because part of him will be gone, will be dead. And this is the part of him as the perfect family man, as the perfect businessman, as the person who has the perfect rich life. This part of him is going to be dead. And I think that this idea of living dead, of between death and life, is also going to be representing something else he might lose that I will explore in a bit. But the last thing I wanted to say about this shot is that it was really funny, because on one hand, it kind of looks like he has no way out. He's like enclosed by this dark green wilderness. He's in the dark. He doesn't see a light at the end of the tunnel that he saw before. But at the same time, baby boy is inside a wall of glass. He's still protected from the wilderness. The wilderness still can't touch him because he's in this resort, in this kind of place outside of reality. And to me, that kind of symbolizes this idea that Even when he was talking to his lawyer was telling him, yeah, you go to jail for 2 years and then he'll be back. Like, his life won't actually end. The only part of his life that could end and will potentially end is the part where he's rich. But he could probably still get help from his friends, from his family. There is absolutely no way baby girl, the mom, is poor. There's no way her family doesn't have money because they are the right kind of people. He wouldn't marry someone who didn't already come from money. Maybe they don't have as many. Maybe they're just comfortable in life. There is no way that woman was poor or was born poor. So I think they could still have a way out. They won't have the same comforts. They won't have the same luxuries. They will have a simple life, but they could still have a good, safe, stable life. And I think this is what this idea of the glass is representing. Yeah, his life is ending, but only the privileged life that a minority of people in the world get. Even though it feels like the wilderness is coming for him, he is still protected by all of the privilege that he has enjoyed his entire rich white life. Because he still has friends, he still has family, he will have help. So yeah, this shot to me was beautiful way to start the episode. And I think it also establishes a little bit the mood of the episode, of people living in their minds, living in their worries, like thinking about what happened last night, thinking about what could happen. Piper is afraid of the future, a future where her parents don't let her stay there. The boys are in denial, as the episode says. Chelsea worries about the boyfriend. The boyfriend is worrying about what's going to happen in the encounter later. I feel like it sets the tone of this episode where everyone is living inside their heads and inside their expectations and their fantasies and their worries about the future. And that's what we see throughout the entirety of the episode. So now, the rest of the weird family. Well, Timothy doesn't do it. He imagines Mom and Piper finding him and he's like, no, I can't put them through this. So he puts the gun away. He takes a little pill and baby boy goes to bed, and they have a little conversation about the mother thinking he's all this worry. She thinks it's about Piper and is like, no, I'm not worried a bit. Not worried a bit. I think in his mind he's thinking she better stay here like now. She shouldn't leave here. But yeah, I will talk more about the boys later, but here we see them returning to the family and we get this great shot where Piper is here, the mother is here, and then the cabinet with the gun is right in the middle, kind of like a looming threat of what could happen to this family if this patriarch loses his mind about the consequences of his own actions. Great looming threat in this shot. Beautiful. And then in this scene, we see the mother telling the boys what Piper told them. We see her complaining about it, like it's a big family drama. We see Saxon going for the goddamn blender. The amount of Chekhov guns we see in this TV show in this season is insane. That blender... I will talk about it later, but we see him going for the blender, and here's something really fun happens because Tim is away. He's in bed. He's like drowning in his own worries and fantasies of suicide. I can't say that word, of schmuishmeid. And the mother takes charge. She says to Saxon, shut off that goddamn blender. She screams for Timothy to come back because they need to go to the monastery and check out what the hell these Buddhist priests, monks, whatever want to do with her daughter. She takes charge. She leads the family. She, kind of steps up when Timothy is absent, dreaming of his death. And later on, we even see this when Timothy goes to speak with the monk about his daughter, and then he comes out in favor of her staying there. It's like, this guy is legit, whatever. And we see the mother being like, yeah, I should have gone with you. She's even slowly with small things, kind of already taking charge of the family as Timothy literally checks himself out. And this will culminate in this conversation that they have at the end where the mother is like, I couldn't be poor. I'm too old for that. That conversation, guys, was insane. I am too old to be poor. And when she says, like, Piper should be afraid of poverty, that's how people make good decisions. the insanity of this stance and the layers of discussion within it, because hasn't that been like a point that has been made like recently about the fact, not recently, that has been made often about the fact that the richest country in the world can't for some reason fix homelessness, almost as if the working class needs a constant reminder of what could happen to them if they don't obey. Almost as if they need to be reminded of the existence of poverty, almost as if they should be afraid of said poverty. So yeah, that was interesting. And when she says that, one, I think that she's underestimating her capabilities. I think she is just like swimming in her privilege. But if push came to shove, I think she could take care of her family. I think she could lead her family. And I'm still gonna say it. I think she comes from a rich enough family that she would be okay. Like her kids would be okay. And another thing is that this makes Tim, and this is after the monestary conversation that I will touch on later, this makes Tim want to off himself, and her. And I said this, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think they would have shown us their deaths if then it was going to happen in real life. I think both of them will survive. But yeah, how? At the monastery, we see Piper opening up to this monk about how much she struggles with her family, how much she doesn't think she's like them, how much she feels distance from what they want for their life and for her life. And she says something so funny, you guys, because she's talking to this monk and she's like, I need you to talk to my parents because they don't want to let me come here. And I mean, I'm an adult. I can still come even if they don't let me, but they would make it very difficult. What does she mean, you ask? What does she mean? Money. She means money, because if they cut her off, she would have to come to Thailand like a poor person, and she would have to live in a monastery like a poor person. And I don't even know if they have fees to live in the monastery as well. But basically what she's saying is that she wants the freedom to be a Buddhist and have all of these experiences and to be different from her family, but she still wants the privilege and the money of her family. The one person in all of these rich people that seemed decent and kind and, like she wants to live a good, moral, harmonious life. The one person that we see that is consistently portrayed as a level-headed person with morals is still swimming in privilege and counts on it in every step. This was a great episode, guys. Great episode. And when the father talks to the guy, when Tim talks to the monk, and he gets that idea of like, maybe death is not such a bad thing. Maybe it's okay. Maybe I will be a drop that returns to the ocean. After this conversation, he's no longer only suicidal, he's also homicidal, and I got the hint that he could be the body in the water, returning to the ocean. I don't think it's going to be him, honestly, but there is a chance it could be him because he lost the gun, right? Baby boy, lover boy, finally had the brains and the guts to go retrieve the gun. Thank you. I was like rooting for him, but now Timothy lost the gun. And an interesting detail is that when he passes by the security guard coming out of his place, he doesn't realize that the security guard has the gun, because even after we've seen him take the gun and take it back to the security post, Timothy still fantasizes about offing himself and his wife with said gun. So I don't think he realizes the gun is gone. I think he thinks the gun is still there and is going to reach for it at an opportune moment. And this is a desperation, right? Because I've been talking about this since the goddamn first episode. Those goddamn seeds, the goddamn blender, and now the goddamn gun being gone. He will decide he will make up his mind that this is the time to off himself, maybe off his wife. He's going to go for the gun. It's not going to be there. He will, in a moment of desperation, look outside, see the goddamn SIDS, look inside, see the goddamn blender, and he's going to do it. Maybe this is how he ends up in the water. Maybe something else will happen. I will discuss it. Oh, and by the way, last point, when Piper and Locke stay in the monastery for the night and they're having like a session, like a meditation session with this monk, why is he speaking English? Just moments before, we had the mother complaining that the monks didn't speak English at all. Could it be that that class was only for English-speaking people? Could it be that this is another tourism trap, just, doing something that to the locals is stupid, but then attracts the tourists? Are they like diluting the ideas of Buddhism and this type of meditation just to appease rich white tourists? Why was the class in English? So Piper stays for the night with Locke. Clearly we know why. I'll explore it in a second. I will talk about the boys. And this is going to be the next episode, right? Them spending the night at the monastery. We're going to see the other people's nights, the three friends deciding to go or not go to that thing. We're going to see the party in Greg's house. We're going to see where Belinda goes and all that. And this is going to be the next episode. So the last episode will be like the morning day after, which is the day of the shooting. So in the next episode, we're going to see Piper and Locke at the monastery through the night. I think potentially Locke will open up to her about what's been happening. And I think that in the next day, so episode 10, either they both live together and then when everything happens, Piper will just be in her room meditating, or Locke will leave earlier maybe to talk to Saxon about things, and Piper will stay in the monastery meditating. Bottom line is, I think baby girl throughout the entire time, like we see in the intro credit scene, will be meditating somewhere out of danger. Now for the brothers. Saxon and Locke wake up in the same bed. Locke is butt out and Saxon is, well, nauseous. We see throughout the whole episode what happens. We see them having flashbacks to the night. It's quite clear that both of them remember exactly what happened and both of them are lying about having blacked out. The only difference is Locke is not nauseous the way that Saxon is. Locke is tentative. He's tentative in the yacht when he's like, oh, I think I blacked out. And Saxon immediately shuts him off like, yes, we both did. None of us remember. We will never speak of this again. And then when they're in the house about to leave for the monastery, Locke says, goodbye, I'll see you later or something like that. And he looks at him like tentatively, like, I'll see you later. And Saxon does not say a goddamn word. He's basically saying, get out of my face. I remember exactly what happened. I don't want to deal with you. So this is their dynamic. It's established very clearly. Locke was the one who reached out. Saxon enjoyed it. Saxon is disgusted by it. Locke is not. And this is the thing, right? Because we don't really know where it ended. Like, they start thinking about it. They think about what's happening in the moment, but we don't even see Chloe leave. And we know she wasn't there in the morning. And the way, I'm so sorry guys, but the way that Saxon was walking in the morning after, I just have to wonder if something else happened. Because if Chloe at some point left and it was just the two of them, but I want to say this. I'm so happy that Saxon is disgusted by himself because yes, baby boy, everyone is disgusted by you. Finally, you catch on. And you feel what we feel. Because then, while the family is in the monastery, Saxon goes by the pool to see Chelsea. And he looks freaked out. He looks disgusted. He doesn't look okay. And she sees it. And then he kind of tries to deviate the conversation to somewhere else. And he's like, yeah, I'm upset because I don't know why you didn't hook up with me. And she destroyed him, completely destroyed him, because she starts saying, after you connect spiritually with someone, you don't want cheap sex. It feels like nothing. It would feel like an empty experience. And he's like, what what are you saying to me? No one has ever said this to me before. And she literally in his face says, because you are soulless. This is what we've all been thinking the whole time, but baby girl said it to his face. And the way he looked at her, he believed her. Like, this entire family, honestly, feels like they're suicidal. The whole family. Maybe Piper and Locke are okay. But yeah, that was the line of the episode by far. You are soulless. Can you imagine hearing someone say that to you? Destroyed him. Completely destroyed him. And then we see Saxon walking back to his room, and at the same time as we see him walking back, we hear gunshots. It's baby boy, lover boy practicing his gun, and after he stole it back. And because I wasn't theorizing that he was going to die, I thought that Saxon was going to live, but now that we hear these gunshots as he's walking by, it can't be by chance. So it either it means that he's going to be one of the victims of the shootout, or that he was going to participate in it in some way. But you know what I was thinking? This is a crazy theory, right? Because I've been saying from the beginning that the reason that Sam Nivola's name is next to the dead body cannot be by chance after we see a dead body in the very first scene. So I was always thinking that Locke was going to be the one who was floating in the water. But what if his name was next to the body because he was the one responsible for putting it there, and the body is actually Saxon? Very convoluted theory. I don't actually think that's going to happen. I still think it's going to be Sam Nivola, Locke. But it was really interesting to hear the shots as Saxon was walking on by. But yeah, this is what I think is going to happen. I mean, this night, he's going with his father to this dinner party, to the Greg's rich white guy's house, and the next day, they are going to have to return. They will be in the resort for sure when the shooting happens. And I think that Locke will be there as well. I'm not sure about Piper, but Locke will be there for sure. And this is going to be the moment. It's going to be like chaos, right? Everything happening at the same time. Many things being interrupted by this shooting. What I think is going to happen is that the father is going to want to reach for the gun. It's not going to be there. It's going to do a suicidal smoothie. I'm so sorry I said that. A suicidal smoothie. And it's going to be interrupted by the shootout. And the smoothie is just going to be there, and someone else is going to drink it. Someone else is going to drink that smoothie. And I was thinking it would be either Locke or Saxon. But now that I've heard the shots while Saxon is walking, I'm thinking, is he going to be involved in the shootout? Will he be there somewhere in some way? And this will leave Locke to the smoothie, or maybe the mother to the smoothie, even though I don't think she would touch it, But if he is suicidal and homicidal, I think it's plausible that he would do the smoothie for both of them, for both the mother and himself. I will probably do an extra video this week, kind of exploring my predictions for everyone in this season. So I'll explore that a little bit better there. But for sure, the suicidal smoothie is going to happen. Who will drink it? Uncertain. As for the three friends, again, nothing interesting happened. I mean, it was interesting because we are seeing what I've been talking about this whole time, which is everything is exploding and coming to the surface. They're having a blowout. They're fighting with each other. They're being petty at each other. I mean, I thought that the fact that the door was open meant someone was going to walk in and see friend number one with, what's his name? Valentin. But no one walked in, but still friend number two saw friend number one. And she tells friend number 3, and it just blows out from there. Friend number 3 is angry and feeling betrayed and being annoying. And friend number 2 is just gossiping and then trying to be a buffer between the two of them. Friend number 1 is denying everything and being nasty. And it's like, can you just have a big fight? Can't you just accuse everyone of everything you're thinking and then move on? This is another thing I think will happen, like at the shootout. They're going to be at each other's throats, and then the firing is going to happen, and we will see for sure who cares about who. Who cares about whom? Whatever. They're going to be fighting. They're going to be like ending their friendship, and then the shooting is going to happen, and we will see who runs and who tries to protect the others. And that will be the end of the Friends arc. They didn't have that much involvement in this season. They were mostly just in their little cocoon, but I do have a theory about what's going to happen to them during the shootout. But I was surprised that friend number 3 was so annoyed at it, because of all of them, I thought she was going to be the one to care less about these things, but she cared a lot. And she made a good point, which is that they never grow up. They're still making the same mistakes they did when they were 15. And that's funny. And she's so nasty to friend number 1 when she's like, she's a 45-year-old washed up actress aging. Like, baby girl, we all age. Chill. I mean, it's clear that she's jealous of the fact that she hasn't had any plastic surgery and the other ones have. It's weird dynamics. Like, I'm so going to be friend number 3 because I will have absolutely no plastic surgery. I have no skincare routine. I'm going to be wrinkly and bitter. But I'll have a cat, so at least I'll have that. About the age gap relationship, the first thing we see about this couple is them in contrast to Greg and Chloe, because Greg and Chloe is kind of like a business couple. It's like an opportunistic couple. Like, they're together because he's rich and she's young and pretty. But god damn it, Chelsea and Rick are, they seem real. They seem like it's a real relationship. Like, they're fighting on the phone, but they are fighting. Greg doesn't even bother to fight Chloe. He's just like, admit it. I don't have patience for you. But Rick is there like fighting about saying love you or I love you. And it's just cute. The only thing that I'm like, is the fact that she sees him as her boyfriend / child. No, Chelsea, I will not forget that. And we see Rick in Bangkok. We see him talking to Sitala and conning her into going to her house with her pretty sure hitman friend. And he cons her into believing he's the producer who wants to get his director to meet her and to be an actress in his film. I kind of get the vibe that she knows what's going on, that she knows it's a lie and he has ulterior motives, but she agrees anyway. They go to her house. It's the final shot. He takes the gun and we hear the voice of the American who lives in Bangkok and is married to Sitala and potentially was responsible for Rick's father's death. Here, because he takes the gun, right? So we're thinking he's going to kill him for sure. It's the Chekhov's gun. He's got to go off. When I was watching this, I was thinking, is this going to be like a mercy kill where Rick is going to learn the truth about his father and this man, and he's going to mercy kill him because he's sick and is going to die? But then the man is standing up, so we can't be that sick. Or maybe the fact that he is sick is an excuse for him not to have visitors or something. But I don't think it would be a mercy kill, and I don't think he's going to kill him. I honestly don't. However, okay, 2 versions of what could happen. One, The friend dissuades Rick, acts as kind of like a buffer for him, as emotional support for him because he's supposedly clean and healthy. And Rick learns the truth about his father, whatever it is. Maybe his father is that guy. Maybe his father is alive. Maybe his father is dead, but he was a bad guy. Whatever it is, he's going to have to find out something he didn't know. Like, that trip cannot be just for a confrontation. It has to add something more to Rick's life. Either that happens and then he walks out, the gun not having been fired, he invites his friend to go to the resort and have like one last hurrah at the resort. Or scenario 2, the friend, potentially a hitman, is lying. He isn't healthy. He's still doing jobs like that. And whenever Rick goes off, his friend helps him like take everyone else in the room out because there are bodyguards with guns there. And then they flee and they return to the resort, or maybe they don't return to the resort and then run. They run into the sunset, lovers together or something. I feel like this is the more unlikely scenario. I think the most likely thing to happen is that nothing will happen. He will learn the truth and he will leave. But yeah, after seeing the gun and seeing the way he reacts to seeing the man and hearing his voice, and after seeing Sam Rockwell's name in the credits, I will get to it. I think that there's a possibility that he was lying about being clean and not working in that business anymore. So I think that the possibility that he might shoot a guy and they might run out of there in a shootout is still possible. Another thing, 2 things that were interesting. One, when Rick is talking to Sitala in that restaurant, we get another painting, another artwork. And I don't, it kind of looks like Rick is sitting on one side, Sitala is sitting on the other, and they're like on opposite sides of a battle of some sorts. And it's kind of like Rick is the good guy, Sitala is the bad guy because she's married to the owner of Thailand who potentially killed Rick's father. So it's kind of like the battle in the background is representing the battle happening right here. Because also, as I've said, Sitala doesn't seem like she's completely oblivious to what's happening. So it feels like this was mirroring this. But then what you see is armed monkeys in gold armor and armed people in gold armor fighting each other alongside non-golden people and non-golden monkeys. And I've said this before, that the symbolism of that artwork supposedly means that the monkeys are good people and are fighting to defend the resort against the bad people, the people. So this makes me think, are the monkeys in the intro credit scene the good guys and they're invading the resort because they are taking back their land from the rich white people who occupy it? Does Rick represent an alliance to this idea and will fight for righteous reasons because his father was trying to protect the Thai land from rich white people? Do the opposing army represent like the invading rich white tourists and business people and whatever? And does Sitala represent her alliance to them because she married the rich American guy? I guess we'll see. Because another thing that kind of hit me was when Rick said that the fake director, wants to see Sitala in her habitat. And I know that that's a thing you say when you mean you want to see people in their natural environment. You want to see who they truly are when they're comfortable in their surroundings. But I feel like that wasn't by chance, because I've been saying this, right, from the very first video I made about the intro credit scene, that it kind of seemed to be an underlying theme about how when rich white people come to exotic places and call the people, the locals, the savages who lived in uncivilized worlds, like as if the rich white people were the only people in existence and the locals were animals who lived in their habitats. I feel like with every episode, there's one little thing, one little detail that hints to this idea of exploring how rich white people see these places they vacation in as if it was like an alien planet with alien beings living on them. So I just want to leave it out there because I feel like it's a theme that will come back. And I think, man, I have this crazy ass theory for the ending. I've touched on it a little bit. I think it's going to be some sort of attack. No, I don't think anyone is going to actually die apart from the body we see, or if anyone else dies, it's going to be like one person, no more than that. And I feel like the attack is going to have other reasons, and it's going to have the involvement of the locals, maybe even staff. I will explore it better. But yeah, I feel like the culmination of this entire season into this one scene that we've seen before, the shooting, will like bring this entire theme together, and they're sprinkling little mentions of it throughout the episodes, kind of to keep that in our minds, that rich white people go to exotic places and treat the locals as savages that live there in the uncivilized world. So yeah, I'm mentioning this to keep that in mind. And then Belinda is a favorite character. Okay, I'm gonna say it. Belinda is a favorite character, and I've been girling her for a while. But also, baby girl raised a good boy who understands that she has needs. I like her son. From what I see so far, he looks like a cool kid that has a decent relationship with his mother. I mean, she was like being all Scarface on him, but I think she was just, joking around with her son and whatever. And she clearly wants to tell him about Greg, but she doesn't want to say it in front of the whole resort because she probably is afraid that he has spies or like someone listening in for him or something. And she doesn't get to tell Zion before Greg approaches her and he's like, yo, baby girl, you want to come to my party? I know I've threatened you before. I know you think I'm a killer, but do you want to go to my party in the house, isolated on the top of the mountain? That's going to be full of other people, probably my friends with whom I have connections with, probably people with guns. Do you want to go? Let's talk. And here I'm going to maintain my theory that I don't think Greg wants to shoot her. I think Greg is going to offer her the business that Tanya promised her and then never gave her. We even have a mention of the business when she's talking to her boo, and he's like, maybe we could do it together. Maybe we could do it here in Thailand. It's so much easier here. And first of all, did he slip with her because he wants to be her business partner and he was just like greasing the wheels? And second of all, could she actually build a business with him with Greg's money? Because that would be the perfect proposal, right? Because if Greg just keeps dropping bodies, because if she appears dead, it's going to be known that she's an employee of the White Lotus, the same resort where Tanya died. So I don't think he wants that kind of stuff linked back to him. So it would make a lot more sense if he just offered her like the business to shut her up, Here you have the money for your business that you can start with your boo, and you never saw me. I think that's what could happen. However, we see Sam Rockwell's name with a crocodile that is like threateningly looking at the bird with Belinda's name. So I'm thinking, for sure, what was the name that Sam Rockwell played? I don't know. His character, for sure, is like a past hitman or criminal of some sort. He has enough guns around to give one to Rick. Not even ask for money, he just gives it to him. So, I'm thinking, if Sam Rockwell's name is with a crocodile, his character for sure was some kind of hitman, he's some kind of threat. And if the crocodile is in the intro kind of threatening the bird, for sure, Sam Rockwell's character at some point is going to come in a position to threaten Belinda. And I was thinking, could Greg be one of the white old dudes that Sam Rockwell's character paid to visit him in his boy-girl era? Do they know each other? Are they business partners? Are they lovers? Is he going to be at that party? For sure not, because he's in Bangkok. But is is Greg going to try to pay this friend, hitman, potentially lover boy person to take Belinda out? Because what if she goes to the party and he offers her the business and she says no? Then he won't have a choice. He'll have to take her out. The fact that his name appears next to the crocodile cannot be by chance. Oh, and speaking of the intro credits, I realized something funny, that in the ocean scene, all the guys are being eaten by fish, and the only guy running away from the fish, like getting away, is next to Mike White's name. I see you, Mike White. I see you. And then lover boy, bodyguard, security guard. Listen, he finally gets the gun. Finally, he had some guts to do it. He couldn't do it by confronting him, but he could do it by sneaking into their room and searching everything. And he found it on the first draw. But yeah, then he has the gun, he goes to the shooting range, he practices, and we kind of get the feeling that I've been saying this whole season, that he's gonna have a moment where he's going to have to prove himself. He liked the attention of being the hero, and he's been getting so many messaging of people being like, you're very cute, you're very kind, everyone likes you, but you're a security guard, you need to be tough, you need to be able to pull the trigger. And at the same time, he has the pressure of this girl that he likes, who likes that he's the hero, who likes that he gets a gun and all that stuff. And I feel like these things like mounted together when it comes to the shooting, the scene with the shooting, he has to have a part in it. He has the gun. He's been taunted and teased about this the whole season. He has the motivation of the girl who likes him being a tough guy. Baby boy will not be okay, but he will be involved in the shooting for sure, for sure. And another thing that I want to mention is, why are we not seeing the girl, like his boo, his lovebird, the girl he's in love with him, the girl he's in love with? Why are we not seeing her like outside of their meetings? Like, why don't we see? Because we know that when he is not with her, he still likes her. Like when he's alone, he feels the same way that he feels when he's with her. But we don't see her perspective. We don't see how she feels about him when she's alone. Because I don't know. I don't know that I feel like, I don't know. Because this is the theme, right? This is his journey throughout the season, is him being constantly distracted by this girl and like letting go of his duties. What if she's distracting him on purpose? Because I feel like there's a ploy within some of the staff of the hotel, of the resort. I feel like whatever's going to happen at the end of the season, whatever the plan is, I feel like it's a ploy by the staff and the locals. And it has something to do with the goddamn robbery that we saw in the beginning. I don't think that was just meant as a robbery. I think it was meant as a way to test like the resort's security and measures and protocols and whatever. But yeah, let's see. I don't like that we never see her perspective. And now, just to finish this very long video, this is why I need a separate video to talk about my predictions for the ending, because I make these videos way too long. But I wanted to mention two aspects that may be important symbolism. The first one is the shot that we see of the dead fish. You know, the fish that, and it's a balloon fish, right? It's the kind of fish that isn't really in shallow waters. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong about that, but the fact that the fish appears dead on the shore is not by chance. Either it means that someone is going to die, or something bad is going to happen to someone, or someone is going to lose something, because it's a funny thing, isn't it? It's not just a dead fish floating in the water. It's a dead fish on the beach. You know, kind of like he was expelled by the only world that could give him life. And by the time he was on dry beach, I don't think I'm pronouncing that word correctly. By the time he was on dry beach, he couldn't survive because he was outside of his world. He was outside of everything he knew. He had no lifeline on the beach, so he died. Who could that represent? So I wanted to talk about that. And also, we get another reference to the monkey brain, the monkey mind, by this Buddhist guy that is giving a meditation session in the monastery. And again, I will remind you of this idea. There's so many stuff with monkeys, right? There's the monkey, there's the idea of the monkey brain contrasted by all the monkeys being very chilled at the resort. There's the statues of monkeys everywhere. And I think it's so interesting that this idea of the monkey brain has appeared twice in the show, and twice it has been the local people who were born there and live there and are locals to that country who are mentioning this monkey brain to the tourists that come to visit the country. And they use this monkey brain idea as like a metaphor, a way to explain a way to make them understand that the stressful, all the stress they have going on there, all their worries, all their fears is interfering with their well-being. They have to let go of that stressful brain, of that monkey brain always buzzing inside to truly be able to be calm and, be able to meditate. And I think it's interesting that it's always like talking about the monkey brain with the tourists, because I think there's this duality in the monkeys, the chilled monkeys in Thailand and the idea of monkey as a stressful animal from the West. But yeah, that's what I wanted to mention about the little details that I saw in this episode. And yeah, I'm really enjoying this season. I think the conversations and the discussions that it sparkled are so and yeah, I think the ending is going to be surprising. I don't think we're going to see a lot of dead bodies because that's not the White Lotus style. We already saw one body and I have a feeling that's going to be the only one we see. But I will explain everything in my finale predictions video because I have theories for everyone. I feel like I know where they're going to end up, and I will potentially be wrong about a lot of it. But if you've seen my previous reviews, you will know that I've been on point with some things. So yeah, don't miss it, I guess, when I put it out. Maybe tomorrow, I think. But yeah, that's it for me today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the episode. I did, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give me a like, comment, subscribe, share. Check out my Patreon. I'm doing a lot of reviews there. As well. Yeah, and I'm watching some cool, really good murder mysteries to review on my Patreon. I do season-long reviews in one video. I've posted... The first video that I posted was about this crime show On Call. I posted about the RA murders. I'm going to post soon about Long Bright River, which was... I woke up the next day after watching the finale of Long Bright River. I woke up the next day with very puffy eyes because I cried my eyes out at the ending of that season. God damn, it was a good season of television. Even if you don't join my Patreon, I don't care. Watch Long Bright River. It's so good, guys. But yeah, that's me for now. I will see you tomorrow, probably. Bye, guys.